Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. I pay respect to the Triple Gems. I pay respect to Bhadratananda and my Dhamma brothers, Venerable Yanalankara, Venerable Ayananda, Venerable Chananda, and Venerable Deep Joy. May you benefit the most from listening to my Dhamma talk, and may the Triple Gems bless you. I'd like to give a Dhamma talk regarding the verse number 32 of the Dhammapada. This is from the Dhammapada Vagga. Dhammapada Vagga is the second part of the Dhammapada, and the Dhammapada is one of the books for the Khuddaka Nikaya. The Khuddaka Nikaya is one of the 5 major parts that make up the Sutta Pitaka. The Sutta Pitaka is one of the 3 divisions, the 3 main divisions of the Pali Buddhist canon. This verse says that Appamadarato Bhikkhu Pamada Vayadasiva Ababho Vaihanaya Nibbana Seva Santike. It means that a monk who is heedful looks at heedlessness with fear, he does not fall away, and he is close to Nibbana. This verse is related to the story of Nigama Vasudeva. This monk, before he was a monk, he was a lay person. He wasn't born from a very rich family, but he got ordination from the Buddha, and then he went to begin his practice. During his practice, he was known by the people around as a person who was frugal and who lived on very little, but satisfied with very little. He didn't require much to live. That's how he was known, and he was known as a virtuous monk who was pure in conduct and speech. So his habit was to go around the village, and it also happened to be the same village where his relatives used to live. It was a small village. That's where he preferred to go for alms, and after the alms, he would go back to his forest monastery. This village was near the city of Savatthi, where the Buddha was living, and the rich man Anathapindika and King Kosala used to give very, very, very big alms to monks, which consisted of very good gifts, and of course very lavish foods, as reserved for the Buddha. But he could have went there to stay there with them, but he did not. He chose to stay alone in a small village, getting very little from the people who were there, because they were not very rich people, but he was contented. So one time the monks asked him, are you happy living? Are you really honestly happy living such a way without very much? Then he told them, for me, this is what I like. I don't feel bad because because the people here give me small alms, because I also know that is all they can give. The monks narrated this to the Buddha, and the Buddha called him and asked him, my son, is it true such and such and such as they said? Then he told him, yes, Venerable Sir, what they say is true. Then the Buddha told him, but they are blaming you that you are living there because you want to stay in contact with your relatives. You don't want to move away from your relatives. This was an offense, because as monks we are not allowed to stay very closely as we used to before with our relatives, since it would distract us on our path to liberation. So this monk said, that is not the reason. The reason I stay there is just to get alms from the people, and after the alms, I always go back to my monastery while contemplating. Why seek food? Why seek food? Why seek food? So I contemplate. The Buddha then told him, praised him very much, and said, you are indeed worthy to be my son. Of course, as a monk, that is how you should live. And the Buddha also went on to tell him a story, to give a story from the past when he was still a bodhisattva, how in one grove, there used to be 1,000 of parrots. They used to live happily. The grove had a lot of food for them. But one time when drought came and there was no more food, all the other parrots fled that place. Only him stayed there. Staying there, he used to eat as much as he could. He used to eat the branches that fell off the dry trees, the leaves that fell off the dry trees, anything he could eat as long as he could digest it, he used to eat that. It used to be enough for him. This story the Buddha gave, and they also said, you see, even me as a bodhisattva, I lived like you before. So living like you do, you are doing no offense. This is the story regarding verse number 32 of the Dhammapada. What I think we should see from this story and from this gatha is that as especially as monks, having given up the lay life, we should be ready to receive and accept whatever is given by those who are willing to give. I'd also like to highlight that there is also, as we know, one instance in the Buddha's life. During the Wasa time, he went to a certain monastery within a certain village to stay there for the 3 months. But the harvest was bad, so the Buddha also, even himself, ended up not having good food to eat. They used to eat very, very, very coarse food, which was difficult for the human body to digest. But it could be eaten. So even the Buddha and his disciples ate it. Then another told him, his personal trainer told him, but we could leave and go to another village where they have better food. You would be able to stay healthy and all that things like that. Then the Buddha told him, since we are supposed to stay here for 3 months, we shall stay. After 3 months only shall we go. If we eat this food, it was not going to kill them if they ate it, because it was food. This is how the Buddha talks and encourages monks to eat and accept not just food, but anything from robes to food, because the monks of those days used to wear rag robes. They didn't wear robes like nowadays. They would just pick rags from the roads and they sew them together to wear the robes, living like this in a way that does not harm the environment and does not put too much pressure on the lay devotees who are willing to offer their hard-earned things to us, so that we can cultivate mindfulness and attain nirvana. In conclusion of my speech, I pay respect to the Triple Gems, Bhagavatananda, and my Dhamma brothers. May the Triple Gems bless you.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.